Have you ever paused to wonder how the pursuit of pleasure transforms as we grow older? It's a topic that often goes unspoken, yet it's deeply human. Masturbation. Yes, that intimate act of self-connection doesn't simply fade with the passage of time. Instead, it evolves, offering comfort, healing, and even a renewed sense of self. But what happens when this personal ritual shifts from a source of solace to something more intricate, layered with emotional complexity? Today, we're stepping into the heart of a subject often shrouded in myths and misunderstandings: the role of self-pleasure in our golden years. This isn't just about mechanics or fleeting sensations. It's a journey into the soul of what it means to embrace your body at every stage of life. So stay with us, because by the end of this exploration, you might just see pleasure in a whole new light. Now, let's dive in. Aging is a profound transition, a mosaic of challenges and revelations, and with it comes a shift in how we experience the world, including intimacy. In our youth, desire might roar like wildfire, untamed and urgent. But as the years pass, that fire doesn't extinguish. It softens, becoming a steady, warm glow, a source of quiet comfort rather than overwhelming intensity. For many older adults, self-pleasure becomes less about urgency and more about intimacy. It transforms into a deeply personal sanctuary where one can reconnect with their evolving body and find solace in its rhythms. As our bodies age, they become storytellers, etched with memories, trials, and triumphs. Hormonal shifts bring new challenges: lower testosterone or estrogen levels, altered sensitivity, but they also invite a new kind of awareness. Self-stimulation becomes an act of self-acceptance, a reminder that our bodies are still deserving of care, attention, and even joy. It's no longer just a physical release. It's a profound celebration of resilience and self-compassion. And the benefits? They're not just physical, though they're impressive in their own right. Regular self-pleasure can enhance blood flow, keeping tissues healthy and resistant to the effects of time. But perhaps even more impactful are the emotional and psychological rewards. That rush of endorphins? It's like a burst of sunlight cutting through a cloudy day, washing away stress, anxiety, and even depression. In these quiet, private moments, we're reminded of something essential: that we're still alive, still capable of joy, and still worthy of pleasure. In older adulthood, self-pleasure isn't just a habit, it's a reclamation. It's about breaking free from societal judgment and rejecting the whispers of shame that tell us pleasure is reserved for the young. It's about rediscovering your body on your terms, listening to its needs, and honoring its capacity for delight. Pleasure doesn't expire with age. It transforms, becoming more nuanced, more meaningful, and perhaps even more profound. This isn't just a conversation about the mechanics of self-stimulation. It's about rewriting the narrative around aging and intimacy. It's about embracing the truth that the journey of pleasure isn't linear. It evolves, just like us. So let's continue to unravel these layers, confront the myths, and celebrate the joys that come from honoring our bodies, no matter how many candles are on the cake. As we age, intimacy with ourselves takes on new and equally beautiful forms, enriching the journey of life right up until its twilight. For an older adult, the act of self-pleasure transcends the fleeting sensations of physical release. It becomes something much more profound, a bridge to better sleep, an anchor for mental health, and a sanctuary for reclaiming the self in a world that often whispers, "You've grown fragile." Sleep, that elusive guardian of health, grows ever more precious in our later years. A night of true rest is not just restorative, it's vital. The gentle wave of relaxation that follows self-pleasure can quiet the mind's restless chatter, ease the body's tension, and guide one into a peaceful slumber. But the power of this practice extends far beyond the physiological. Masturbation becomes a mirror, a way to look inward, to rediscover a body that may feel unfamiliar after years of change. It fosters self-awareness and compassion, enabling older adults to reclaim a sense of ownership over themselves that the years may have eroded. Aging often arrives hand in hand with vulnerability, a loss of control, and the painful disconnection from one's physical self. But within this intimate act lies a gentle defiance. It's a quiet assertion, "I am still here. I am still whole." This rediscovered connection breathes life into self-esteem. It nudges away the nagging doubts that come with wrinkles and slowing steps, replacing them with a soft-spoken pride. The body, once seen as a betrayer, becomes a trusted companion again, a source of comfort, not disappointment. And that in itself is power. Yet, as with all things that bring joy, there exists a line that, if crossed, can transform something healing into something harmful. In some cases, the very act meant to comfort can take on a darker edge. When self-pleasure turns excessive or compulsive, the impacts can ripple across both body and mind. Physically, overstimulation of the body's most sensitive nerves might initially seem thrilling, but it can lead to discomfort or a frustrating dullness in sensation over time. This hypersensitivity sets a trap, an insatiable chase for pleasure that eludes, leaving only dissatisfaction and unease. But the physical repercussions are merely the surface. The deeper wounds are emotional. Many older adults, faced with the ache of loneliness, turn to self-pleasure as a refuge from the silences that echo through their days. With social circles shrinking, family ties evolving, and life growing quieter, the comforting escape of masturbation becomes a balm for the soul. But when this fleeting reprieve becomes the only source of solace, it risks widening the very void it seeks to fill. Dependency on this solitary comfort can push someone further into isolation, crafting a bubble of loneliness that others cannot penetrate. The deeper they retreat, the harder it becomes to reach out, to reconnect with meaningful human relationships that truly nourish the spirit. And yet, it's within this struggle that the lesson emerges. Balance is the key. Masturbation, when approached with mindfulness and moderation, can be a deeply rewarding practice. It offers physical relief, fosters emotional resilience, and empowers us to embrace our bodies in ways that defy societal judgments. But it is not and cannot be a substitute for the warmth of human connection. At its best, it is one of many tools to help navigate the complexities of aging, reminding us that we are still vibrant, deserving of joy, and capable of profound connections with ourselves and others. When self-pleasure drifts into excess, it loses its essence, transforming from a source of comfort into a shadow of frustration, isolation, and emotional dependence. Striking the right balance is a deeply personal journey that demands honesty, self-awareness, and, above all, self-compassion. For some, the solace in self-stimulation becomes a substitute for the companionship, affection, or emotional support they yearn for. Over time, this reliance can quietly widen the gap between them and the world, deepening the emotional disconnection. But what does science say about this intimate practice in later life? From a medical perspective, masturbation is not inherently harmful. In fact, when approached in moderation, it can offer several health benefits. However, like any behavior taken to extremes, it can lead to unintended consequences for both body and mind. Studies examining compulsive masturbation in older adults reveal a range of potential impacts, especially when it becomes the primary outlet for emotional or sexual release. Physically, overindulgence can lead to fatigue, not just sexually, but in overall energy levels. This type of exhaustion can sap the motivation needed to carry out essential daily tasks or maintain an active lifestyle. For older adults, staying active is non-negotiable. Regular physical exercise is a cornerstone of health. It strengthens muscles, preserves mobility, and safeguards the heart. However, the draining nature of excessive self-stimulation can lead to a more sedentary lifestyle, increasing the risk of conditions like heart disease, muscle loss, and reduced flexibility. It's a chain reaction where one imbalance fuels another, emphasizing the importance of moderation. If you've made it this far into the video and are finding these insights helpful, comment #1 below. I'd love to know you're here with me on this journey. Beyond the physical consequences, the effects on interpersonal relationships can't be ignored. For older adults living alone, masturbation may serve as a way to meet their sexual needs. But for those in relationships, the stakes are different. In long-term partnerships, excessive or compulsive masturbation can slowly replace shared moments of intimacy. Over time, the individual act might take precedence, creating emotional and physical distance between partners. What was once a shared connection can begin to feel like a void, leaving one or both individuals feeling neglected, misunderstood, or unsatisfied. For those in this situation, balance is key. Masturbation should complement, not replace, the intimacy shared with a partner. When approached with thoughtfulness, it can coexist with the loving, mutual experiences that keep relationships vibrant and fulfilling. But there's another layer to consider: the weight of shame. Many older adults grew up in environments where sexuality was a taboo subject, something whispered about or hidden away. These deeply ingrained beliefs can linger, creating an internal conflict. When excessive self-stimulation intersects with feelings of guilt or unworthiness, the emotional toll deepens. For many individuals, self-stimulation may bring an immediate sense of relief or pleasure, only to be followed by a wave of guilt, shame, or remorse. This inner conflict between natural desires and deeply ingrained beliefs about morality can take an emotional toll. It creates a burdensome cycle, fleeting moments of satisfaction overshadowed by self-judgment. Over time, this struggle can exacerbate feelings of loneliness and isolation, chipping away at emotional well-being. The mental cost of this internal battle often manifests as anxiety, depression, or diminished self-esteem. It's important to recognize that these feelings aren't uncommon, especially for those raised in conservative or repressive environments where sexuality is stigmatized. However, addressing these emotions with honesty and working towards self-acceptance can be a transformative and liberating experience. In conclusion, masturbation in older age, when practiced in moderation, is not harmful. It can provide numerous physical and emotional benefits. Yet, it's vital to remain mindful of its potential to become a substitute for meaningful human connection, particularly for those in relationships. Achieving balance allows self-pleasure to remain a positive aspect of one's emotional and sexual well-being, free from guilt or shame. As we age, self-awareness and self-compassion play an even greater role in leading a fulfilling and balanced life. Sexuality, at any stage of life, is a natural, beautiful, and deeply positive aspect of human existence. It's an act of self-expression and emotional release, and it should never be clouded by unnecessary guilt. However, when self-stimulation becomes an emotional escape, replacing genuine human interaction, it may signal a deeper issue. In such cases, it's crucial to seek alternative forms of support, whether through therapy, counseling, or reconnecting with loved ones. These forms of connection offer a depth of emotional nourishment that goes far beyond the fleeting relief of self-pleasure. For those worried about potential long-term physical risks, it's time to lay some persistent myths to rest. Contrary to outdated beliefs, there's no credible evidence that masturbation causes permanent damage to sexual organs, accelerates aging, or leads to serious conditions like prostate cancer or impotence. These misconceptions have only fueled unnecessary anxiety, especially in older adults who may already feel vulnerable about their changing bodies. That said, moderation is key. While masturbation is not inherently harmful, excessive indulgence can result in physical exhaustion or even a temporary decrease in libido. Instead of fulfilling sexual desire, compulsive habits can sometimes dull it over time, creating frustration or dissatisfaction. When practiced mindfully, masturbation offers profound benefits. Physically, it promotes healthy blood circulation, preserves the elasticity of genital tissues, and helps maintain sexual function. Emotionally, it serves as a valuable tool for stress relief and self-reconnection. It allows individuals to reaffirm their sense of vitality and self-worth, particularly in moments of loneliness or anxiety. Yet, balance is essential. If self-stimulation begins to overshadow other meaningful activities or connections, it's a signal to reflect. What's driving this compulsion? Is it loneliness, stress, or a deeper emotional void? Identifying the root cause and seeking healthier ways to fulfill emotional and physical needs, such as hobbies, social interactions, or physical activities like yoga, can restore balance and well-being. In summary, masturbation is a normal and beneficial practice in older age when approached with mindfulness. It can enhance physical and emotional health, boost mental clarity, and support sexual wellness. However, it should not replace the deeper, more meaningful connections that enrich life. By maintaining this balance, older adults can embrace the benefits of self-pleasure while staying grounded in the broader emotional and social connections that make life truly fulfilling. Thank you for joining us for this important and insightful discussion. What resonated with you the most today? Is there a lesson you plan to apply in your own life? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your support enables us to continue bringing these meaningful conversations to light.